Good morning, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your first video blog of the day for Sunday, July 5th, 2015, around 6:53 in the morning, Billerica, Massachusetts. It's going to be a nice and sunny day, highs in the 80s, going to get a little warmer, a little humid. This week's going to be a little more humid, but there might be a slight chance of a 90-degree day, but it's possible, but it's highly unlikely because we're going to get wet weather for the end of the week and back to 70s and stuff. I just hope we do not go in that pattern again where we're going to have more days where it's going to be 50s and 60s and a lot of rain. Some news to report: the U.S. women's soccer team will be facing off against Japan tonight for the finals, and that game will be on Fox. And that's about it on news. My first video subject of the day is my review of the 1989 NWA Great American pay-per-view that happened in Baltimore, Maryland on July 23rd, 1989. The main event was for the NWA World Title. It was Nature Boy Ric Flair, who turned face, facing off against Terry Funk, you egg-sucking dog, you Dusty Rhodes. And this was a great pay-per-view. And there were no dark matches before the pay-per-view for the crowd in Baltimore, Maryland. And calling the action for this pay-per-view was good old JR, Jim Ross, and Bob Caudle, who was a long-time voice of the NWA. He started at Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling and stuff. So he was calling it with good old JR. So the first match that happened on the pay-per-view was a two-ring King of the Hill Battle Royal matchup. The winner of this Battle Royal would get $50,000. A two-ring Battle Royal is they have all the wrestlers start in one ring, and then when they get eliminated to the second ring, and they continue to get eliminated to the second ring. Once they get eliminated over the second ring, they're eliminated completely from the match. And in this Battle Royal had like Sid Vicious and Dan Spivey, the Skyscrapers, plus the Rick and Scott the Steiner brothers, Terry Gordy, Kevin Sullivan, Hotstep Eddie Gilbert, Ron Simmons, Wild Bill Earlin, Ranger Ross, Flying Brian Pillman, Scott Hall, and Dr. Death Steve Williams. This Battle Royal was pretty good and stuff like that. It came down to Sid Vicious and Dan Spivey, who were the Skyscrapers, and they were going to fight, but Teddy Long, their manager, says he didn't want to see his men to fight, so they co-won the Battle Royal and split the $50,000 in half. But that's kayfabe. They never got $50,000. The next match was a one-on-one singles match. It was Flying Brian Pillman against Wild Bill Earlin. And this was a good match and stuff. It lasted about 10 minutes. Flying Brian beats Bill Earlin with a flying body press for the 1, 2, 3. Bill Earlin was basically a jobber to the stars when he came into the NWA. Well, it was evolving into WCW at that point. The next match was a tag team match. It was the Skyscrapers, Sid Vicious and Danny Spivey, with their manager Teddy Long, facing off against the dynamic dudes who were Shane Douglas and Johnny Ace. Johnny Ace is now John Laurinaitis, who worked for the WWE offices, was once Vice President of Talent Relations. And this was kind of like a squash match by the Skyscrapers. Danny Spivey pins Johnny Ace in about like the 10-minute mark with the pump handle slam and stuff, just to get the Skyscrapers over as a dangerously heeled team. The next match was a tuxedo match. It was James E. Cornette facing off against Paul E. Dangerously, and Paul E. and James E. were having a long-running feud, which started in November of 1988 when the original Night Express came to the NWA and attacked Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane and stuff, and this feud was building ever since and stuff. So this was culmination of a feud, and it was a tuxedo match. the way to win the tuxedo match is to whip off the tuxedo and stuff. And it was like a back and forth match. Jim Cornette wins after he throws powder on Paulie dangerously, whips off his tuxedo, and Paulie's just down to his underwear. Pretty funny and stuff like that. The next match was a tag team Texas Tornado match, not Kerry Von Erich, the Texas Tornado. It was Rick and Scott, the Steiner brothers, with Missy Hyatt, the First Lady of Wrestling, facing off against Kevin Sullivan and Mike Rotundo, the last two members of the Varsity Club. The Varsity Club was like a kind of a underrated, a mid-card heel faction in the NWA around 1988 and 1989, which had Kevin Sullivan and Mike Rotundo, and at one time had Rick Steiner and Dr. Death Steve Williams and Dan Spivey, but Spivey and Dr. Death were gone, and also Rick Steiner was he turned face around that late half of 1988 against this Kevin Sullivan and Mike Rotundo, and Rick brought like Scott to the NWA, and they've been feuding for ever since then. And this was probably the head of the feud, and this was a back and forth match. The ending of this match had like both Steiners pin Kevin Sullivan and stuff like that for 1, 2, 3. It was a decent match and stuff. It's not a 5-star match. The next match was for the NWA World Television title. It was Sting facing off against the Great Muta from Japan with Gary Hart. Sting had in his corner Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, who had a feud with the Great Muta before he had a feud with the Sting and stuff. And this was, a great match back and forth. And the ending was kind of controversial. Sting bridged the Great Muta for the 1, 2, 3, but both wrestlers' shoulders were down. One referee said Sting retains the NWA TV title. The other one says that the Great Muta had his shoulders up to win the NWA television title. Eventually, Muta stole the television title from Sting, one of the referees and stuff like that. Eventually, the title got vacated, and Muta beat Sting at a house show a few weeks later to win the NWA TV title. Pretty good match in my opinion. The next match was a no disqualification match for the NWA United States Heavyweight Championship. It was a total package. Lex Luger facing off against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Originally, this was going to be a no disqualification match, meaning meaning anything goes and stuff, and that. But Luger was getting mad. He was not going to put a title up on the line with a no disqualification match, and he wanted Ricky the Dragon Steamboat to drop the no disqualification clause in the contract in the match. Ricky Steamboat's goal, he allowed it. It was a back and forth match and stuff, about 20 minutes and stuff. And I think the ending had Ricky the Dragon Steamboat use a chair on Luger, getting him self-disqualified. So Luger retained the NWA United States Championship by disqualification and stuff like that. I think I heard something. Originally, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was going to win this match and win the United States Championship and have a feud with Lex Luger over the summer and fall of 1989, but Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was having contractual problems with NWA, especially Jim Herd, because he got not such a great payoff for the Wrestle One 1989 pay-per-view, which he and Ric Flair had the third match for the NWA World title, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat got mad because he didn't get good enough pay. He left the NWA shortly thereafter. The next match was the War Games, the Match Beyond, the 2-ring steel cage match, double-sided. It was the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal, with Paul Ellering, the Midnight Express, which was Beautiful Bobby Eaton and Street Stanley with Jim Cornette and Dr. Death Steve Williams facing off against the Fabulous Freebirds, Michael P.S. Hayes, Jimmy Jam Garvin, and Terry Gordy. At this time, Hayes and Garvin were the NWA World Tag Team Champions, and they had the Samoan SWAT team, Samu and Fatu, with Paul E. Dangerously. These 10 kind of an odd pairing for these teams at the War Games, the match beyond, but it was a decent match. It wasn't the best War Game, but it was a decent War Games. The ending of the match had the War Warriors put Terry Gordy in the hangman's noose and stuff, and he submitted, and it was about a 20-minute match. It was okay, but afterwards the rest of the heels attacked Warrior Hawk and stuff, and they lock him in the cage, but the rest of the faces come and rescue the day and stuff like that. So it was good War Games. It wasn't the best, but decent. And then the main event was for the NWA World Title. It was Terry Funk with Gary Hart facing off against Nature Boy Ric Flair, who was at this time a 6-time World Heavyweight Championship. Whoa! And this feud started at WrestleWar 89 in Nashville, Tennessee, when Terry Funk was a judge for the the Dragon Steamboat Ric Flair match, and afterwards, when Flair won the title again for the 6th time, Terry Funk was congratulating him, and he was just kidding about a challenge for him. But then Terry Funk attacks Ric Flair and gives him a pile driver on the table, a very extreme move in 1989, because wrestling wasn't extreme back then. Professional wrestling wasn't extreme back then. Ric Flair was on the shelf for a few months just to sell the injury and stuff, but once he came back, it was pretty good. This match was awesome. It was probably one of the best matches Ric Flair wrestled up to this point. A lot of near falls and stuff. Terry Funk escaped the figure 4 leg lock and stuff. Terry Funk did a few pile drivers, interference by Gary Hart when Terry Funk was going for his famous finishing maneuver, the spinning toe hold. Ric Flair cradles him for a small package. 1, 2, 3. Ric Flair retains the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, but then the Great Muta comes in and attacks Flair afterwards, and they have a couple of suits come down, and then Sting rescues Ric Flair, and it was a great brawl and stuff, and then Sting and Ric Flair become friends. And that was the end of the Great American Bash pay-per-view 1989. What did I think about Great American Bash 1989 pay-per-view? It was very, very solid. I think it was better than 1988 one, which had kind of the controversial end to the title match, and plus a couple of endings that were not great. This one was kind of solid from top to bottom. The Flair Funk match was probably 5 stars. Steamboat and Luger was awesome as well, and Sting versus Great Muta was awesome as well. The rest of the card was kind of filler and stuff, but I give this pay-per-view an A. And tomorrow I'm going to review Great American Bash 1990 New Revolution, which the main event was for the WCW World Title. It was Nature Boy Ric Flair facing off against Sting. And later on today, 2 more video blogs. First video blog will be about continuation of BMHS memories. The memory I want to talk about today will be about my memories of the morning announcement for BMHS. And the third and final video blog of the night will be a personalized profile. It will be about Ross Schaefer, who used to host Match Game 90 on ABC from 1990 to 1991. Have a good day, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Bye now.